back to Adventures with Bam. I'm Brent Billings.
And I'm Maggie Billings.
And this episode has us reconsidering our life choices in light of the latest Thanksgiving holiday experience.
Oh, man. Which life choices are you reconsidering, Brent?
Oh, pretty much everything.
Everything.
Yeah. So we finally had Maple meet Tag, Maggie's parents, Aussie.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just not anticipating that meeting in the right way, because I was concerned about, would they get along? Would he be too territorial about her coming into his house? Blah, blah, blah.
Which are valid things to consider.
Those
Absolutely.
are valid things. Yes. What I did not consider is just the fact that he is very old.
He's an old dog. He's 10.
Yeah. So he's had a few injuries.
Yeah.
He's just a little more fragile.
He's a weebly wobbly
and
guy.
I didn't think about that. He's also pretty nice with Maple.
He's so nice.
A little too nice.
Well,
I was hoping that he would just get a nice big chomp on her neck at some point and have her yip a little bit and then run off and realize, like, okay, this is Tag's house. I got to quit goofing around.
Yeah.
But he didn't ever quite do that. There were a couple of times where we had, like the first, it was seriously so much chaos. So much chaos.
Because it's the dogs and it's also our children.
I mean, the children, like, we are aware of their potential antics, more or less. They always come up with something new, but in general, we were but this is the first time Maple's really spent any extended period of time with another dog.
Yeah.
So the first day, we're like, do we keep her on the leash? Do we, we don't want them to run around too much, but do we... And then the next day, we're like, okay, let's give her a minute. Let's see what she does. She's kind of jumping around. And Tag was mostly just standing there.
Yeah, so patient.
A little bit of moving around, but for the most part, like, she was doing all the jumping around, being crazy.
Barking in his face.
Barking. She would kind of nip at him, whatever. And then he kind of like showed his teeth a little bit and did a little bit of growl and did a little bit of correcting. And we're like, okay, this is good. But she never quite fully got the message, and we just didn't have enough time where they could reasonably work that all out,
and
without us being concerned about him getting hurt.
Right. She wasn't aggressive. All she wanted to do was play with him.
Totally playful.
And
yeah.
It seemed like he wanted to be able to do that too, mostly, or at least tolerated her more than he needed to tolerate her. But the other concern of my parents is neither of them are fixed. So Maple is actually not quite old enough to get pregnant. That could change in as soon as a month.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, she could not have puppies quite yet. That doesn't mean that Tag wouldn't try. There was one point where we were like, okay, time to separate them. I don't know that he's a bit... I don't know that
he's well fed.
He's well fed. She's also, at this point, almost taller than him.
Yeah.
But that was an extra layer of things that we needed to keep an eye on. So the main issue was Maple was just so loud and barking. And if it was just her in a room, she's very chill, especially for a German Shepherd who's a puppy. If it's just us in our house, she's pretty relaxed.
Or even just us in your parents' house.
Yeah, there were a few times where, Tag was in the basement or he was upstairs or whatever, and Maple she'd just lay down while we watched a movie, or she'd lay down by the nearest door where she recently saw someone come into or out through. But as soon as she saw him, it was barking and jumping up and down. And then anytime somebody walked into the door, that's kind of her standard. Notify everyone that someone has entered the house. So it was just a lot of noise and jumping around in somebody else's space. And my parents are very gracious to put up with all of this in their space and trying to keep the dogs separated and trying to keep the kids entertained. It was a tough time.
Not a banner Thanksgiving.
But
still good moments.
Not forgettable. It was not bland. And there were still, I mean, like truly.
I still had ham.
You still had ham. The food was perfection. I would change almost perfection. Here's one of the things that went wrong. So last year we discovered this recipe. I don't know about you, Brent. I grew up on canned yams. You strain the liquid from the can, you dump them in the pan, you add marshmallows, you're good to go. Last year, I was like, what if there's a better way? And there is. It's called fresh sweet potatoes. Not from a can. And so I found this recipe that like they're fresh and you add cinnamon and sugar and nutmeg, blah, blah, blah. And then cook it all and it's great and it's magical. They were absolutely wonderful last year. And then I did a trial run a couple weeks ago because I had some sweet potatoes in the house. It was perfect. I don't like peeling and cutting large potatoes. So I buy them, pre-peeled and chopped at the store in a bag. Did my grocery order, made sure to, pick them up at, as late as possible so that they would be fresh. And the expiration date on them was like December 3rd or 4th. And I was like, perfect. So then I went to open the bags, a couple hours before dinner, and they were all slimy and rotten. Like they stunk. All of them, all like 6 bags or however many it was. So luckily, Brent was already going to the store to get some Pepto for Torin. And we were like, get sweet potatoes. But then we had to do them from a can at that point. So the sweet potatoes were not as good as they could have been, but we still had sweet potatoes.
I still had more food than I needed. So
yeah, that's the theme.
At the end of the day.
So great,
it was fine.
Great food, great company, just loud dogs.
It's just such chaos.
Can't win them all, but we are thankful.